morning. It's Gord on his weekend, on his day off, coming back to give, as you saw in the title, to give a little more context to yesterday's video because it was requested by one of my Patreon supporters. So I want to throw it out there, and I want to actually speak further on it anyway, because some things changed. First of all, my friends, I like that I have people who follow me from left to right, from far left to far right. I hope nobody from alt left or alt right, but it doesn't matter. It is what it is. But I want to reiterate my rules. If the comments insult, they'll go away. Other than that, you're entitled to have your opinion. You really, really are. And I'm not going to bring opinions from comments into here, but I might bring the idea. So, first of all, I had one user ask me to please define Trump derangement syndrome, and is it a real thing? So I really wish that people would understand an opinion with a bit of jest, with a bit of fun, talking to all of you. That's what this was. Yes, it had a fair amount of my political opinion attached to it. No, I have a bias. I express my bias. I am honest about my bias. I am more of a centrist, but I am right-leaning. I lean to the right. I identify, if people like that word, I don't, with conservative, but I also identify with liberal. I identify with libertarian and anarchist. I can take a little bit from every single one of those, and I find beauty in every one of those philosophies. But one thing I want to make sure is people understand me better. This is why I don't foray into the political world too often, because the comments and that, oh no, somebody's misunderstood me kind of feeling is rather debilitating on me, and I don't want to keep doing it. Or maybe I need to. I used to be very strong in that area, but my anxiety over the years, that's why I got out of doing political channel. And a couple of times I have a second channel called The Political Hippie. It has 0 subs. It has 0 content. I made it a year, maybe a year and a half ago. I had thought of separating out family and cannabis related into this place and the political stuff there. But then I increased my workload by managing 2 channels. So I'm not sure if I want to do it. And the angst I got from yesterday's angst in the comments makes me wonder if I want to touch on politics at all. I want to be honest with all of you, and if I'm honest, I more often fall right than left. But how do you put in a 10, even 20, 30-minute video almost 60 years of life compiled into a few minutes to explain why my politics is what my politics is? So I'm not going to justify. I said to someone in the comments, I'm not going to justify my opinion, but it's my opinion. And you know what? I don't feel anyone ever needs to justify their opinion. I think having a good discussion, like Angie said to me, can you explain Trump derangement and how you think it applies to people? Yes, it sounded like I said Canadians. I blamed Canadians for having or expressing TDS on a very large-scale basis. And that was a very, very general statement, not meant to be specific to anybody. So I want to get a few ground rules out while explaining myself. But before I get into saying what TDS is, what I meant by Canada, all that stuff, let's get down to the brass tacks of what I believe and why I believe what I believe. I lean right. I am a logical guy with a degree in business, with a major in political science. I have been on every side of the political spectrum. As I study every area of politics, I find such beauty in every philosophy. I do. The liberals don't do what they do because they hate the people on the right. They think the people on the right are evil, and that's too bad, because they should just think they're wrong, because the right thinks the left is wrong. But liberals have a beautiful, wonderful philosophy of peace, not war, social responsibility, and helping community. What the left doesn't realize is the right has those same things, but they attack them from a different area of independence. The left is all about groupthink, groups together, societies, community. The right are very individualistic people who have the same belief, who like community and want their communities to do well and want their neighbors to do well, but instead of helping with the money, they want to help with the knowledge. And it's the idea of, do you cook for everybody, or do you teach them how to fish and let them cook for themselves? To me, that's those two. That's the yin and the yang, and we need them both, and they're both beautiful, and they both come from a place of the heart. People have to understand that. People on the right come from a good place in the heart. We've just been raised differently to be more individualistic and self-responsible. We expect everything to... We don't want to give to charity if we can give experience to charity. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, Jelly Bean, let's get on with this. That is my background. When I went to college, I was so far left, it was amazing. I was really, really liberal, but liberal was different in the 80s and the early 90s. Liberal was different than today. So, it's an attempt to get you to understand that I do come from the heart, and I do love everybody. I mean that. I hate only the word hate. Other than that, that word doesn't enter into my vernacular. But so then, therefore, why the video yesterday? Because you know what? I get a little bit tired of the Trump bashing. And so I called it Trump derangement syndrome. It is something that is overused and ill-defined. I understand that. I was not trying to make a political commentary, but an overall generalization of a feeling, and express those feelings to my friends, all of you. Trump derangement syndrome, in my mind, is just an overarching thought that too many people oppose Trump on a personal, almost hatred way. They absolutely hate Trump. My point that I tried to make was to one of the commenters, whatever you want to call it, is that Trump has done some absolutely wonderful things that only Reagan before him did, and he's doing it better than Reagan. He has removed not thousands, but tens of thousands of regulations that were in the way, red tape, into making money, so that people could make money. He has renegotiated trade deals throughout all the world, bringing the U.S. into a huge, strong economy. He has done it not on the backs of the American people, not giving away the American dream, but by ensuring it and building up on it. Certainly, do I wish he were a nice guy? Yeah, but you know what? If he were a nice guy, he wouldn't be able to get done what he gets done. Think about this. And this is all about business. Most people that I've ever talked to have said, I'd like to see a businessman, not a politician, run a country. Well, you're seeing it happen now. You may not like what you see, but the results are undeniable. The results of the lowest unemployment in history for all the minorities and for the whites. An economy that's booming, a marketplace that's incredible, bringing made in the USA back into the USA. I almost wish I were a part of it. I wish we had a leader with such love of country. And yes, he has a bigoted way of speaking. I personally don't think he's a bigot. I know some of you do. And if you do, I can't change your mind, nor will you change mine. So we accept that of each other, and even if you think he's a bigot, he's getting a lot done. And that's what I want to say is everybody has the right to admonish the president for his tweets, for his sometimes rudeness and his nicknaming, giving names to everybody like a bully. Yes, he's bully-ish. He's tough. He loves power. He loves himself. He's very narcissistic. And I've just named almost every politician out there. But the difference is this narcissistic one is honest. Brutally honest. Too honest. And it upsets a lot of you. And I get that. And be upset. But it becomes Trump derangement syndrome when you can't say, I agree, he's done well in this, this, and this. I just wish he didn't do this or he would do this. You know, you can disagree with Trump. You can be a person who loves gun control. You're on the left. You love gun control. You oppose him that he doesn't want so much gun control. That's opposing him on substance, on policy, on his politics. If you oppose him personally, that's okay too. But if you are not admitting the positives that he has brought, then you might have Trump derangement syndrome. And that, my friends, was my point, is that it felt to me that the CBC, yeah, that rhymes, removing Trump from that movie was on purpose and was because they don't like Trump. Now, I'm going to go even further and say I have learned and studied a bit more, and the CBC is saying that they did that in 2014, before Trump even announced he was running for. But the way they said it was, in 2014, we bought the rights to that movie and then reduced about 8 minutes of play to make it suitable for TV. They didn't say in 2014 we removed that Trump piece. They said they bought it in 2014 and they let 2014 ride for the rest of the sentence, but that's not how the sentence was structured. I'm not a grammatical expert. I don't care. It really doesn't matter. It was a playful thing saying, look at this. Canada can't even look at Trump on Home Alone. Could it have been an innocent removal of a piece of a movie? Yeah, it sure could have been. And you know what? I'll give it to you. Maybe they even did that. But in removing 8 minutes, why would they take the most iconic piece? So, yes, my video could have been, why would they remove Trump when they could remove the section of the guys in the toy box, the some of the panning of Central Park? Most of that could have been removed because it doesn't add to the movie. I do personally think him seeing Trump in Trump Plaza is an iconic piece of New York that they were trying to get through, that if you remove from the movie, it removes a tiny piece from the movie. Would anybody miss it? No, probably not. That's the whole idea. If we can't express our opinions without upsetting people, then this world is in trouble. And I keep saying we're not in trouble. 90% of you, 99% of you enjoyed the quibble, enjoyed the back and forth, enjoyed the discussion of Trump derangement syndrome, enjoyed the levity that I was trying to bring to the situation, and saw in my video the fact that I was not being 100% serious. Yes, it came from a place in me that believes in most of what I said, but it was a generalization. It was fun, it was brevity, it was levity. Excuse me. Not feeling very well today. Stress has bad results on my brain, and I'm having a bit of a difficult morning getting together. So I'm hoping this comes across well. I'm hoping that when we go back into the comments, we can do it with respect and care and dignity and understanding that every single one of us has the right to be wrong, the right to offend, but we don't have the right to take offense. Remember, sticks and stones break bones, names don't hurt us. We have the right of free speech. We have the... One person said, well, CBC has the right to do whatever they want. Why did you put up that video? Because I have the right to have an opinion about what a company has done. That is what it is. That is all it is. And there's a part of me that just wants to keep expressing myself, because if many people who are right-leaning or on the right have started to close their mouths because silence is easier, but silence is deadly. If we don't have a right and a left, we don't have a yin-yang. We don't have symmetry. We have the left. And if we have only the left, we lose ourselves. We are a dichotomy of people that are from the far spectrum of right to the far spectrum of left. And I kind of say that political science has changed, and it's no longer on this long, thin spectrum. There's an up and a down to it too, and you can be on 3 or 4 places at any given time, depending on the subject matter, the time in your life, the things that have happened to you. So we need to understand from each other. I love you, Angie, for you asking me to be more clear, because you didn't understand and you wanted to. And you may still not agree with me, but I hope now you see that, first of all, I didn't insult a single person. I used Trump derangement syndrome not as an insult, but as a description for a type of behavior that I was explaining. The fact that Trump can do no right when he has done right. It's as simple as that. And when I say Canadians, yeah, I know. I need to explain this one last piece because it happens too often, and it seems to be that there is a different way of breaking down a person's thoughts, whether you're right or left. And sometimes the left needs to understand this, that on the right, we speak very often. On the left, you talk in groups. You become groups. You're supposed to, the left is all about enjoying the society and the community and everybody lockstep and we all think the same, that kind of thing. And I get that. I understand that. We on the right, again, I shouldn't say we, I'm more centrist, but when I'm thinking right-leaning, so the left thinks that way. We on the right think differently, but we think in large generic thoughts and then bring it down into reality. So I will say generally Canadians are nice people. I did not just say you, a Canadian, are a nice person. I said Canadians are nice people. I don't even have to say the word generally. I said Canadians. That's a whole group of people, and you know damn well that not 34 million of us are nice. I don't know what percentage are not nice, but I can say Canadians are nice and be generally true. I said Canadians are expressing Trump derangement syndrome. I don't remember how I said it. Angie, you pointed it out, but the Canadians express Trump derangement syndrome too often. I do think that's true, because I do think that about half our country is liberal. The last election kind of proved that. And half generally are expressing, and the left expresses very strongly, the right usually keeps to themselves. So I was generally stating about a large swath of Canadian population tend to express Trump derangement syndrome. It isn't a good generalization. I will agree to that. But it's still just a generalization. I am hoping that over time we can get to where we take the general idea of what someone says and we either agree or disagree. If we disagree with the general idea, that's when we, the person speaking and the person disagreeing, get together and start discussing the finer points and finding where the disagreement is and can we find common ground. That's the right way to debate. That's the right way to live. That's the way a society works best. Instead of, you're wrong because I don't have Trump derangement and I'm on the left. Generalization does not mean specifics to any specific statement. I'm going to cut all that out. I'm going to say now I'm at the end, my friends. I think I've said what I need to say. I think you understand what I want you to understand about me, the hippie, and my political side that I wish I hadn't expressed, but I hope I can find the courage to express it again, because I probably will, and I hope that we can find some common ground. Most of us did. And I do want to say it's time for Yeah, I promised you the Christmas little known facts are over. Now we're 100 facts about dogs, puppies, and bitches. Dogs come in all shapes and sizes and are one of the most popular house pets in the Western world. Although people have kept dogs as pets for many years, it was only in the 1960s that they became increasingly popular in the West. After the Second World War, there's a big increase in the number of households with a pet. Statistics show that more than 60% of U.S. households have a pet dog, which proves just how popular they are. And one more. Dogs only sweat through the pads of their feet. This makes it difficult to tell when a dog is very hot, but they will also pant to lie down when they are too hot or exhausted. Panting usually helps them to cool down. I didn't know they sweat through their paws. Had no idea. I like that. And Pasha even said, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
I want to bring you cool, interesting, and fun things. So, friends, remember, you're friends. Peace and cheers. Love and harmony.